It looks peaceful out here, the beautiful cornfields and a summer afternoon. But when the thunder of American Flat Track hits Lima, it's going to be action you haven't seen before.
I'm the best dude here as far as ability-wise.
I really just need to go out there and do one thing, and that's to win.
We worked so hard this year. The team worked so hard.
Let the race begin.
We're underway. The carrot is there. Can he go after it?
It doesn't take much for a guy to go down.
Wow, that was close. That was the pressure point.
Looking fantastic.
Wow, I did not expect this.
If he ruffles some feathers along the way, so be it.
Can't say these guys aren't tough. They take the win. Unbelievable run. You don't often see domination like this.
How impressive is that?
What a performance.
We haven't been disappointed.
Johnny K's Indian Motorcycle presents the Lima Half-Mile, powered by Drag Specialties. It is Progressive American Flat Track. Jared Meads, pretty busy this weekend. He promotes this race. He also wants to win the race to try to take the series points lead away from Briar Bauman, who has been the most consistent rider so far. But those two have been under attack all year from the likes of Jared Vanderkoy, Brandon Robinson. A lot of riders have had speed in 2021. Jason Wigan and Brad the Bullet Baker here are going to give you the call. Kristen Beat will be patrolling from the racetrack here at the very popular Lima. Awesome to have it back on the calendar, and awesome to have a tight points race also.
Definitely, Jason. It's really tight here, only a little less than halfway through the season. We got top four riders all within a race points. Brandon Robinson trailing behind Briar Bauman, looking really consistent here as of late.
Robinson has been quick this year.
2021 in a nutshell has been a little up and down, but I mean, right now everything is good between the ears. I'm feeling good, got a lot of momentum from OKC, and just gonna take it on here at Lima and try to keep that ball rolling, so feeling good about it. Lima is all about that roost, baby. I mean, that stuff is gnarly. It's like getting stung by hornets at 90 mile an hour, man, if you're behind, you know. So the game plan, get out front early and try to avoid it at all costs. To win at Lima, you basically just gotta be dumb. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You gotta flip the switch in your brain and say, enough of being smooth and in control, we just gotta grab a handful of throttle and let her eat, you know? So if we can establish a rhythm and put them boys behind us, make them eat our roost, then our day's gonna be a lot easier. Overall, I think I'm in the best position I've ever been in my career as far as just team environment. My equipment's good, my team is awesome, you know, with Ben Evans, my crew chief, team owner, and Jerry Stinchfield, and you know, Mission Foods as well. It's just, I think we have a really good dynamic, and along with my teammates, you know, everyone gets along really well, so it's a fun place to be right now, you know. It's making my job not feel like a job. I'm just going out there and twisting the grip and having a great time, coming up the track with a smile on my face every time. And when you're happy, you're going fast, so that's the biggest translation for this year. I'm just feeling good. I'm at a point in my career where I know I'm closer to being done than I am the beginning, and man, I just want to win as much as I can and enjoy this process. I think I appreciate it a lot more than I used to, and every race is a blessing, and I just want to go out there and win.
Okay, little flavor there from Mr. Robinson. What else do we need to know, Brad?
Biggest difference about this racetrack is the pea gravel limestone cushion on top of the clay surface. This track's going to be changing all night long. And you're going to be seeing plenty of roost out there, that's for sure.
And we hope lots of passing as well. Jared and Nicole Meads racing and running the show.
I just love Lima. I love the cushion racing, and it was one of my favorite racetracks on the circuit. So when Jared came to me and said, hey, you want to go promote this race, I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. So we came into the promoting, and it was really neat that we still get to be so involved in the racing, and I get to be involved in, you know, making the fans happy and showing them what they like. So we just went out and put on a good cushion race and let them drink beer and have fun.
Saturday morning when I wake up, I put the racer hat on, and I got to give a huge shout out to my entire crew that hold the big rope for me on Saturday. It's amazing that, you know, what Nicole does, and then all my friends and family that come into town and help out. Like she said, we really enjoy the Lima, Ohio fans. This was my first Grand National victory back in 2005, and I remember it like it was yesterday, all the fans in the stands. So it's a cushion track, as she mentioned, one of the only cushion half miles on the circuit today, one of the longest running races still going, and we love Lima.
We'll see if he loves it from a racing perspective. He's on the number 9 here, Jared Meads. It's our first semi-qualifier race, battling it out with Briar Bauman for the lead.
Yeah, Brandon Robinson gets a great run off of turn 2 on the first lap, carries that momentum around the outside, goes into turn 3, right to the cushion on the first lap.
Unbelievable, blowing by Bauman and Meads and taking a big win. It's Robinson. So the riders who've won the championship in this series the last couple of years are going to have to do some homework to catch that 44 in our main event later on tonight. Brandon Price actually sneaks in there for third. Here's Semi 2. Bronson Bauman in the lead, but Jared Vanderkoy's quick on the 20.
Yeah, Jared Vanderkoy is an Ohio native. He's grown up on these cushion half miles. It's showing here tonight as he is going to take home semifinal number 2.
All right, so count him in as a contender. He is Robinson's teammate, so that squad, Mission Roost Systems back on Indian Motorcycles, looking for a win in our main. And here we go to our Mission Challenge, $5,000 on the line. Also a shout out to 36 Colby Carlisle and the Estenson Yamaha. He's been running very strong. These are the top 4 riders from those semi-races in a quick sprint for $5,000, courtesy of Mission, and it's Vanderkoy in the lead early.
Yeah, great hole shot by Jared Vanderkoy, but look at Brandon Robinson, squares him up, coming off of turn 2, see if he gets the drive going into 3.
And Carlisle tried a low line out of turn 2, crossed up in front of Briar Bauman. That holds Bauman up, so 2 different packs right now.
Yeah, that definitely hurt Briar Bauman there on the first corner. Only 4 laps to get it done, so you got to put your head down.
Meanwhile, the teammates battling up front, Robinson and Vanderkoy. Although Carlisle, this is still by far the best performance we've seen from him. He's a former champion of our singles class, moving up to the twins, running strong. But look at Briar Bauman. He wants to get in on this lead duo.
Yeah, he knows that he has to really make progress here soon. But look at Brandon Robinson. He's getting on the gas. Super quick coming off the corner, getting the power to the ground better than anybody right now.
Robinson's speed has not been an issue this year. He has been so good in these Mission Challenge sprint races, and he's getting away again.
And like Brandon said earlier, it's like you just put your head down the whole time. I mean, you can ride 150% out there. That's what's so fun about these cushion racetracks.
Oh, mistake by Vanderkoy coming out of the corner, and Bauman makes the move. Vanderkoy comes back.
Yeah, Vanderkoy drops to the bottom. That's another thing about a cushion track. You got to stay out of the roost, so you're going to see guys crisscrossing lines trying to not ride behind one another.
I'll tell you, they're staying out of the roost of Robinson in the worst way, just because he has a big enough gap where they're not getting hit. The 44 is on the gas here at Lima, and he's going to take the Mission Challenge again. He has been the master of these sprint races. 4th win this year in the Mission Challenge. What has gotten in to Brandon Robinson this year?
Man, he is just riding with aggression and confidence. He has a lot of consistency behind him right now, and coming into Lima, I think he was just excited about this racetrack because he's won here in the past, and you can really just let it all on the line.
Brandon, all day you've looked so smooth. You look very comfortable running that high line. How does what you found earlier in the day just continue to benefit you?
It's starting to change a little bit. The track's getting more brushed off every time we're out there, so we're just trying to have to adapt to the lines, and man, I'm just feeling on top of it right now. I can't thank my team enough, Mission Foods, Roof Systems, HCRR, my crew chief Ben Evans. Like I said, man, they got me dialed in. I've just been feeling the flow lately. My trainer Dick Tibbetts for all the mental coaching throughout the week. My fiance, everyone, it's part of my program. My grandparents are in the grandstands tonight, so thank you guys, love you guys. And yeah, another 5G for the wedding fund.
Man, that wedding's just gonna keep getting more and more frills. See if you can make even more money by winning the main event tonight. Could he even take the points lead? That's Mission Super Twins. Meanwhile, our singles class coming up next. Progressive American Flat Track is brought to you by Mission Foods, which has you covered with race day recipes that are too fast, too tasty. Progressive insures over 5 million boats, motorcycles, and RVs. Get a quote in under 4 minutes at AmericanFlatTrack.com/progressive. And by Law Tigers, you never have to ride alone. Progressive American Flat Track singles points, they're close.
Yeah, the biggest thing I see is Henry Wiles making himself up in the points after OKC. This is a track that he's won at before, so he's looking to pick his way up into the points even more.
And Max Whale has been good all year also. Here's Kristen.
With 2 wins in the last 3 starts, Max Whale. Max, what has ignited this momentum for the Red Bull KTM team?
Yeah, just a lot of confidence right now. Feel really good on the motorcycle and having a lot of fun. Just, keep going race by race and, just keep doing what I'm doing, really.
Right now, 6 points separate you from Dallas Daniels. What can you do to close the gap, and how does this team, and when does this team start focusing on the consistency needed to chase down Dallas Daniels? It's those nights where you're finishing outside of the top 5 that are really holding you back. Yeah,
exactly. My goal this year is just take every race one at a time and, have some fun and, just try and win them all. Obviously, that's not always going to happen. It'd be nice if it did. But, yeah, just keep consistent, try and, as Kristen said, eliminate those finishes outside the top 5 and, yeah, just have some fun doing it.
Well, this will be fun. We'll show you the highlights of the first semi. It's like a Honda versus Yamaha battle. 2 Hondas out front, 2 Yamahas right behind them. Trevor Bruner and Dustin Brown up front. Dallas Daniels, your series leader, getting shuffled there on the outside.
Yeah, Mikey Rush got a really good start from the outside too, but then he gets shuffled back right away. Trevor Bruner's on the gas right now.
Well, you're pointing out the lines are much different in this class.
Yeah, they definitely are. The 450s sometimes take a little bit lower line. They don't have as much horsepower to dig through the cushion, but you'll still see guys going everywhere here on this racetrack.
So Trevor Bruner takes the win there. His teammate Henry Wiles is out front, and here's the use of the high line. Watch Max Whale on the outside.
Yeah, you see Henry Wiles is down low all the way through the corner. Max just goes all the way up to the high side, squares off the corner, makes the straightaway that much longer, and goes blowing by Henry Wiles.
These two had a fantastic race at our last event in the Main in Oklahoma, and a nice rematch here. Whale just edges Wiles. Hope to see more of that action in our main event. It's coming up next. Brandon Kitchen has been pretty quick all year. He finishes up in 3rd, a struggle for Shayna Texter-Bauman, who was your early season points leader. She's only 7th in the semi. So now the hopes of Red Bull KTM might center on Whale, and there is Wiles coming on strong as of late.
Yeah, definitely Henry Wiles is super good at these cushion racetracks. He rides so aggressive and always fast on cushion racetracks.
So we'll see how that turns out. Different styles for different types of tracks. Maybe a rematch between Wiles and Whale. Trevor Bruner also on the Honda has been very quick. Bauman, as mentioned, she really needs to bounce back. And Mikey Rush, uncharacteristically, struggling this weekend as well. He is 2nd in points coming into this race. So here it is, 8 minutes and 2 laps and 17 riders. Pivotal round for momentum in this championship. Dallas Daniels on the number 1 points leader, but he starts in row 2. Here we go.
Great launch out the line for Max Whale around the outside, but look at all the guys coming up the inside.
The racing here in Lima, so fun to watch, and Wiles gonna bust through the door and take the lead.
Man, you can see anybody that's second on back is just getting pelted by Roost right away.
Trevor Bruner in 3rd, and he's down low trying to make a move on Max Whale. Whale temporarily in 3rd, but he's been using that high line. See if he can come right back for the number 2 spot.
Henry Wiles has dropped right to the bottom and stayed out of all the roosts and cut off a lot of real estate there. But then he goes back up to the high side and squares it off. That's what's cool about this racetrack. You can take multiple lines in the same lap.
Will it change also throughout the race, what line you want to use?
It definitely will. I mean, down low, it might last for a little while. As it starts to get polished off down there, it'll get slicker, and then everybody will get to the top and start to get up into that cushion and grab some grip.
It's not what Dallas Daniels wanted. Last year had a big win streak, won the title fairly easily. This year he's been consistent, that's why he has the points lead, but he is seeing tonight's fastest riders get away while he is in traffic. And right now, Wiles, Whale, and Bruner setting sail. They're opening up a gap.
Yeah, Bruner, he's always been fast at these types of racetracks too, being an Indiana boy, growing up on these tracks. And that's why when he was at OKC, how he was so fast there as well. Great to see him being more consistent.
Well, yeah, he had a massive, massive crash at Oklahoma, and luckily was okay and rode really, really well. And he's even better right now. Turner Racing Honda backed by Progressive, 1-2. Are they even going to pull away from Whale a little bit?
Brandon Kitchens wanted to get himself up in the mix on the Husqvarna. looking really strong right now as he has a mechanical failure. It's too bad for Brandon Kitchen.
And now Whale doesn't have to worry about Kitchen on that 105. He's free to go back after the Hondas right in front of him, and he is. Here's Kopp and Daniels, two of the young riders in this series. They got to work together. They got to try to get to the top 3.
As is Cody Kopp's rookie year, fast kid out of Washington State. His dad was former Grand National champion Joe Kopp. He's always fast on these cushion tracks as well.
And then Daniels in year 2 as a pro. So again, can they bridge the gap? And the battle continues. Max Whale on the Red Bull KTM, at least for the moment, getting around Trevor Bruner.
And Max Whale shut the door on him coming into the corner and got back to the throttle sooner and went on around.
Now remember, a couple things here. Whale's going to make up a lot of points. He could take the series lead away from Daniels if it ends like this. That's really the big picture. What's on the mind right now? Can he catch Henry Wiles? He was able to do it and take the lead late at our last event. Wiles does not want to let this KTM get to his rear tire. Henry Wiles leading the way on the Turner Racing Progressive Honda, but Max Whale, the number 2 spot Red Bull KTM, trying to track him down. Trevor Bruner is in a fight. He was 3rd, but he's actually been passed.
Yeah, Morgan Mishler's on a tear right now. He's going higher than anybody around the racetrack, on the throttle, carrying as much momentum as he can. I'm really impressed by what Morgan Mishler's doing right now.
Yeah, you said this is not a track that Morgan Mishler used to excel on.
No, typically he's a groove track rider, but here he goes right around. Whoa, they get super close coming onto the front straightaway. Lines will crisscross here at Lima. Wow, that could have been bad if he got it into him anymore. It would have been a high side off the corner. These guys know how to thread the needle, though.
It always blows my mind how you guys are able to do that. The trust, it's a game of inches at times. And inching up on Wiles is Max Whale. Again, Max Whale was able to get Wiles late in our main event at the previous race. He would love to do it again here. And with 2 minutes and 2 laps to go, there is time.
Definitely, he's been picking off 2-3 tenths a lap here for the last 5 laps or so. But there's 2 totally different lines. Henry's dropping all the way to the bottom where Max Whale's up in the cushion trying to carry more momentum.
Unbelievable turnaround. A big struggle, just barely in the top 10 in some races early in the year for Henry Wiles, who was considered a title contender, but then he got a 1st and a 2nd at our doubleheader in Oklahoma. As we mentioned at the top of the show, he has closed back up in the series standings. He's looking for another win, but Whale is coming.
There'll be some really good racetracks coming up in the season for Henry as well where he can make up time, but you know, you can't get these guys an advantage because it's hard to be able to pick those points off later in the season.
Right, so this is critical for Wiles to hold on, win this race, and maximize his points haul. He's moving a little bit further up the racetrack now.
Yeah, you see him switch up his line there. You can hear the bikes hit the rev limiter coming into the corner. These guys are actually shifting around the racetrack. They'll bang it down in the 3rd gear coming into the corner and right back to the stops, trying to get as much as they can out of these 450s around the cushion racetrack.
How do you even get to the shifter when you're fighting through the corner with a leg off?
You see right there as he just clicks it down into the next gear right before he puts his foot down, and then wide open. Look at Max Whale way wide that lap. That was a little bit of a mistake by Max, but that's what's hard about these tracks too. There's sometimes some ruts and bumps that get built up, and rear tire will grab it and it'll stand you up. You always want to be steering with the rear tire around a track like this. It's you never really typically see them rolling in line like you would on a clay racetrack.
No, that makes it fun to watch here, but it's serious business, and a little mistake at mid-corner slowed Whale up. Much better this lap around. He's closing, but now he's not closing enough. Meanwhile, Dallas Daniels doing what he does, trying to maximize points. Not the fastest rider tonight, just trying to salvage. He and Bruner are in a tremendous battle for 4th.
Yeah, Dallas is really good later in the race. He always figures things out. He won't ever get stuck in a rut. He always tries to move forward as much as he can.
Well, the charge is stalled. Whale made a run at Wiles, and Wiles able to respond. A couple of mistakes by Whale, and now still a few bike lengths between them, and time is running out.
And Morgan Mishler seemed to drop back a little bit comfortably in 3rd.
Henry Wiles looking to make it 2 wins in the last 3 rounds with a second place finish in between. So he has become the hottest property in American flat track. There is Shayna Texter-Bauman going a lap down. Remember, she won our opening rounds in this championship. So momentum shifts in a hurry in American flat track singles. Her teammate, Whale, is gonna put her a lap down as well, but he's out of time. Henry Wiles is gonna do it here in Lima.
Great run by Henry Wiles. Man, just riding like an animal out there, and that's what you have to do on these types of racetracks. You just got to let it all out.
When you see Henry Wiles, Hammer, and Hank hanging out at these races, you can see he's one of the strongest riders out here. I got to imagine that helps on a track like this.
Oh, for sure. It's physical out here. I mean, it's resembles a little bit of motocross out there, how it gets rough and rutted. I mean, you just got to ride as hard as you can and get over the stuff.
Yep. Whale tried, but Wiles wasn't going to let him this time around after Whale was able to pass him late at our previous event. Morgan Mishler really stepping up the game this year. Another solid run for the podium. And Bruner wins that battle over Dallas Daniels. So Daniels 5th, he'll lose a bunch of points. Here's Kristen.
Henry, what went into that line choice? You were using some creative, some unique lines. Your racecraft was undeniable during that main event. The high-low line, though, was really unique. What went into executing that line?
Yeah, you know, I think I've used about every line on this track besides the low line that I was running today and earlier in the day, and it worked for me at times and it didn't work for me at times. So I've really just relied on the whole Turner Racing crew, powered by Progressive Insurance. Just got to thank the whole crew for, you know, again, it wasn't me, it was the bike. We just, all I could do was ride the wheels off it, and I tried to do that every lap, tried to be as smart as I could all day, and I'm glad we could execute, get the job done again.
Look at this, a tie at the top of the standings.
Yeah, Max Whale has tracked down Dallas Daniels, but look at Henry Wiles, only 18 points out. He came in 29. He's definitely making up ground.
He finished 17th at the opener. What a comeback for him. Let's send it back to the podium in Kristen.
Max, during that race, just a few epic battles, and one thing that I really wanted to point out, tonight is a huge points night for you, closing the gap on Dallas Daniels, being able to put out an efficient ride. What can you tell me about what that main event was like for you?
Yeah, I sort of got an average start. Well, actually had a good start, but I got pushed around a little bit in the first corner. And I knew it was going to be tough to catch Henry, man. He was flying all day. He just didn't put a foot wrong the whole main event. I started catching him about halfway a lot, I feel like, and I just got told I got the gap down to 0.6, and yeah, I was pushing hard. I wanted him really badly, but you know, Cummie Mab was second. Just like can't thank my whole team enough. I just can't thank the fans coming out enough. Man, it's good to see a full stand, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Now check out Morgan Mishler here on the outside, barely, and I mean barely, able to take third place away from Trevor Bruner. 4 podiums on the year for lucky number 13.
Morgan, a little too close for comfort. A very tight pass around Trevor Bruner for that third place spot. Were you aware of how close you came?
Honestly, not really, because you know, I was still jacked up from it. But you know, I didn't even know if I got third or not. I just saw Max up there, and I was like, oh, he's going fast, so I got to be close. So, you know, to make it up here, and I mean, I'm not a cushion rider by any means, so it feels really good to be up here. I was watching videos about Lima this entire past week, so for me, it's like one of those things where you study, and then finally it all clicks. And I want to thank all these great fans for coming out. I hope we got a pretty good show for you guys.
He certainly did. And Henry Wiles put on a good show as well. 1-2-1 his results in the last 3 races. Hammer and Hank is right back in title contention. It's a tie at the top of the standings in singles. It's been fun in 21. Progressive American Flat Track is brought to you by Cat Rental Store, the official heavy equipment supplier of American Flat Track. Progressive insures over 5 million boats, motorcycles, and RVs. Get a quote in under 4 minutes at AmericanFlatTrack.com/progressive. Mission Foods, which has you covered with race day recipes that are too fast, too tasty. Welcome back, Johnny K's Indian Motorcycle Lima Half-Mile. It's Progressive American Flat Track. production twins class, it has been all about Corey Texter here in the G&G Yamaha so far this year. He's going to try to get another win. We'll see how the twins do on this really fun to watch pea gravel cushion track. No matter what track, you can count on Texter getting a great start.
Yeah, he's the whole shot king. He's always getting the whole shot and makes your job a little bit easier, especially on a track like this where the roost is going to slow you down.
And Pat Buchanan there on the 71, but here comes Johnny Lewis, the Royal Enfield entry on the number 10. He starts to close in and then takes the lead.
Yeah, Johnny Lewis uses a slide job and the roost to his advantage, takes over the lead coming off a 4.
And then a crash, which leads to a red flag. That is Trevor Harvat. He's actually okay. You see him in the back of the grid here, a problem off the start, but at least he's not injured. And off the restart, the big change is they actually shuffle Lewis back to third, and it's Ben Lau taking the lead.
Yeah, Ben Lau, great hole shot there on the restart. Takes over the lead momentarily. Lewis goes back up the cushion.
Goes back to work. First he gets around Texter, who had passed him also, and then he gets around Lau.
Yeah, he got it turned. You see how he did the high-low maneuver, coming in high, getting it turned early. Comes off below. But look at Ryan Barnes coming on strong late in the race.
Yeah, the rider in the green leathers gets around Texter, and then this is the run to the line, and he almost gets Lewis at the finish.
Man, too little too late. Maybe if he had a few more laps, he could have got it done.
And you see the reaction there. He was bummed. Almost had it, but Johnny Lewis on that Royal Enfield entrant, relatively new bike. They showed up late in the 2020 series. They don't compete in all the races, so they're not going for the title. That's why he's only 8th in points, but they're definitely fast when they do come to the track. Corey Texter, 3rd. That'll help preserve his big points lead. A struggle for the likes of Gautier and Kos. Here's Kristen.
Johnny Lewis's last win in the production twins class came at the Daytona short track in 2020. To come out here with all of the hard work that this Royal Enfield team has been putting into developing this bike, you put on a clinic out there, and Johnny, you just absolutely owned 3 and 4. What did you find on not only the front stretch, but also that section of the track that allowed to your efficiency?
It's actually just kind of watching old videos and seeing my mistakes. It's amazing, think about it. It's been, I led laps here multiple times in what we call the Super Twins now, and and I saw so many mistakes. David Lloyd, my mechanic, he's a harper on me, and he knows what I'm capable of, and watch this video, watch that, do this, and it's what I need. I'm the coach usually, kind of working with everybody, and I need somebody that way, and it was really just kind of watching old footage and talking to some of the Super Twin riders. Kind of now that I'm not racing them, I think they're a little nicer to me. It's amazing to have these guys on my team, and I can't thank them enough, and it was a fun Lima.
Hey, it's always fun when you win. We could talk Dunlop tires here. Dunlop Tire Talk. What's it going to take to go quick on the cushion?
All the teams and I will be using the softer compound, the R5. The most important thing they need to do is put on a fresh edge every time they go out there. They want to have a sharp edge to be able to bite into the dirt as best as it can.
So you don't always do that, depending on the track?
No, not all the time. I mean, on a clay track, you actually want more of a wore-out tire that's scuffed in. Exact opposite on a cushion track.
So we got the former series champ here to give us the info. Mission Super Twins main event coming up next. Main event time in Mission Super Twins. Johnny K's Indian Motorcycle Lima Half-Mile. The cushion track, it's fun to watch. Multiple grooves, multiple lines, lots of roost. Can Jared Meads, who now runs this event as the promoter, also win the event? He and Brandon Robinson are bearing down on your series leader, Briar Bauman. So this is a big race with a lot on the line.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, you see the tear-offs on the riders' helmets. That's another task that they have on hand, is being able to reach up and pull a tear-off. Sometimes in the middle of the corner, you'll be blind and having to pull off one of those tear-offs, sometimes multiple times a corner.
So sometimes they're just not seeing it all until they can grab it?
Pretty much, and even having that many tear-offs stacked on right away, you're almost half blind because it's so blurry.
Wow, okay, so here it is. 11 riders are going to race 10 minutes and 2 laps here on this very unique track at Lima in Ohio. Bauman, Vanderkoy, Robinson, Carlisle, that's your front row. Let's go.
Looks like a great start by Briar from the center, but no, it's going to be Jared Vanderkoy. Takes a hole shot.
Vanderkoy with his teammate Robinson, they're both up on the high line, and they managed to squeeze off Briar Bauman.
Yeah, it looks like Robinson got a turn the quickest there, able to take over the lead going into turn 3.
And no sign of Meads making tracks toward the front. So the teammates battle, and Bauman trying to get back to them, and he does get around Van der Kooi for the moment. Van der Kooi right back.
Yeah, it's brutal back there in the pack. As soon as you get blinded by the roost, it'll take the wind out of your sails for sure.
Bauman throwing everything he has at Van der Kooi. He had it, and Van der Kooi crosses up and goes back underneath.
Yeah, great run by Jared Van der Kooi. Squares him right back up, being more aggressive than I've seen him in a long time.
And Brandon Price in third, so that's 3 riders on that Mission and Roof Systems of Dallas team in the top 5. Meanwhile, a struggle so far for Jared Meads.
Yeah, Jared Meads, I believe his knee injury is still aiding him a little bit here. I mean, this is one of the most physical racetracks that we go to. Maybe not quite strong enough for him to go 100%.
Still giving some good shots on that S&S onboard. By the way, you can see how rough this track is getting as well. They're bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, it definitely. The further in the night, the rougher it's going to get. And these guys, this is where fitness is really going to come into play.
There you see Meads on the 9, battling it out with J.D. Beach, who won our TT race. Wait a minute!
Whoa,
battle for the lead!
That was a slide job by Briar Bauman. Just slid right in front of Brandon Robinson, kind of took over the line, but Brandon Robinson gets a turn and goes right back underneath him. As well does Briar right there.
Oh, this is fantastic. So these guys fighting for the series points lead and now fighting for the lead in this race. I thought Robinson was going to try to check out when he had the early lead. Series champ Briar Bauman says no, and he goes right back to him.
Yeah, he's way further up the racetrack coming in, but seems to be able to get it turned, but not that lap. He kind of got held up behind. Briar wasn't able to cross back underneath him.
Okay, so let's see if Briar can use the breakaway. Not gonna happen. Robinson down low retakes the lead.
Yeah, a little mistake by Briar. You know, when you get up into that cushion, sometimes it'll suck you into even more of the deep stuff, and it's hard to get it turned.
Oh, this is spectacular. Side by side every time around.
Man, he really squared it up that time. Goes way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Not quite the run that I thought he was gonna get, though.
And Brandon Price of the 92, he's gotten around Van der Kooi. He might be the fastest rider on the track. He's gone right up to the rear tires of the leaders.
Yeah, he put his head down early. Brandon Price has been fast here the last couple years. He's a rider that lets it all hang out. Usually on the gas early on. We'll see if he's be able to hang on as the race gets a little bit tiresome for him.
And I cannot keep track 3, 4, 5 times that Bauman and Robinson have swapped the lead. They're wheel to wheel again.
Yeah, you can see Briar's rear brake rotor glowing. That's sometimes uncharacteristic on a cushion track like this. You usually see guys doing it even on the clay tracks, but Briar's using it to his advantage here, maybe trying to use it to keep the bike settled down in the middle of the corner.
Plenty of time left at the moment. This is about as big a gap as Robinson has had, 3 or 4 bike lengths. Can he get away, or is Bauman readying another attack?
Yeah, if he can get a little bit of breathing room, that might be all it will take for him to start clicking off his own laps. And these guys are, racing each other in the middle of the corner, and Briar's so close to him, taking his line away from him. Mike was holding him up to be able to click off the lap that he would if he was riding by himself. We'll see what he's able to do with it.
Critical juncture here for Bauman. He's got to respawn, because if Robinson gets a little further out, he's not going to have to deal with the pressure.
Briar, he's not a Grand National Championship for no reason, though. He can put himself back there, go to work. He's going to school right now. I mean, he's seeing what he's doing differently, and it's easier to follow than it is to lead on a track like this as well, because he's able to gauge off what he's doing and find some faster lines.
Okay, so you think Bauman's actually okay here?
I believe it is for sure. We got a lot of race left ahead of us.
Indian Motorcycle on board now with Meads. He's out of the top 5. He won our last race. Is this illustrating the difference between a mile and a track like this?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different, especially with the surface of this racetrack. I mean, Jared Meads, so consistent everywhere. I just really believe that his knees bother him on this racetrack. To go from winning this race 5 times to being back in 7th and 8th, it definitely has to be something happening with him.
It might have settled into a 2-rider battle now between Robinson on the 44 and the 1 of Briar Bauman. They're starting to pull away from Brandon Price and Jared Van der Kooi. And now you see the 1 is closing back in on your leader. We need more side-by-side action when we come back. He's closing on leader. Halfway flags are out. Halfway through this, Lima Half-Mile, and Briar Bauman is ready to retake the lead. I thought the battle was coming. Short-lived. He immediately struck on Robinson, so Briar Bauman back to the lead. What can Robinson do from second? He goes right back after him.
Man, this is this is the best race we've seen all night. These guys are crisscrossing lines back and forth. I mean, I call it a slide job coming in. They take the shorter way around the racetrack, come in and slide in front of the line of the other rider. But then Brandon, he goes back to the high line, gets it turned sooner and tries to cut back underneath him. We call that squaring up the corner, trying to make the straightaway as long as possible.
We've seen both riders doing that, depending on where they are in position to each other. Now Robinson trying to walk the tightrope, get a little grip down low. It might actually work.
Yeah, Breyer, he is leaving it all the way up in the cushion, all the way around. I mean, it's definitely more grip up there, but the higher you go up in that deeper cushion, the harder you got to ride the motorcycle.
Vanderkoy trying to slip back, passed around his teammate Price. It's the battle for third. Vanderkoy on the 20, almost made the move on Price around the outside, but Price shuts the door.
Yeah, Jared's came back on here at the end of the race.
Oh.
Maybe that's a battle of fitness between the two. Or Jared was just able to find some different lines, maybe looking further up ahead, see what the guys in 1 and 2 were going at. Look at him driving to the bottom. Brandon Price super close, almost gets into his rear wheel.
Oh, this has been spectacular racing, this battle, and with our leaders up ahead. As Price, finally, I think Vanderkoy has made the move. So that's going to put him into third. Whoa! Price almost hit him.
That was almost a last-ditch effort there by Price, but could have been bad if he got into his rear tire.
Price, one of the young talents in this series, was in contention for an AFT singles title a couple of years ago, crashed and got injured while holding the series lead. He's moved up to Super Twins. He's been quick on this bike, battling for third right now. Back to your leaders, no change. Every time you watch them, they swap the spot.
Yeah, Brandon Robinson dropped to the bottom, slid underneath him, but Breyer just got slowed up, turned sooner, and back underneath him.
Had maybe 4 or 5 laps midway through this race where Bauman just cruised around in second, but since then and before that, it has just been pass, pass, pass with these two. It's so fun to have a track with this many opportunities to make moves.
For sure. You can see how rough it is going down the backstretch there. Those guys are bouncing up and down all the way down the back straightaway into turn 3.
Oh, Robinson, you know he's not going to give up on this. He's got another push in him, right?
No, for sure. I think he's almost positioned himself for the last lap. If he can come off turn 2, right on Breyer's rear tire, he can do the last lap pass going into turn 3 and be able to take over the lead. So he might be in the catbird seat right here.
Robinson has won 2 races this year. He's second in points to Breyer Bauman. So this is critical, not just for tonight's race win, but for the championship. And you see the 44 about to put on another charge.
Yeah, he's not quite able to get the run through the center of the corner that he was before, but he's still right there as he drops to the bottom, maybe trying to take off a little bit, you know, shorter way around the racetrack. And Breyer being up top there, I mean, he's one mistake away from making, you know, a bunch of ground, or giving Brandon Robinson a bunch of ground.
Okay, let's watch it through here. When they get onto the straight, we've seen Robinson get some head shake. That's when the bars start slapping side to side. Is that just a byproduct of the racetrack?
Yeah, it's definitely rough right there where the tractors go across the racetrack. But, you know, these guys try to get on the rear tire, get the front end light going across those bumps, almost like if you're going through a whoop section, be able to roll through the back section as smooth as you can.
Does that even bother them? It looks rough on the outside. Do they even notice?
I don't think they notice that much. I mean, maybe a couple times when you start head shaking side to side, but for the most part, these guys are just got their eye on the prize, head down.
Yeah, now my next question, you've been talking all night about how it's just wide open. You don't have to have finesse on a truck like this. Is that fun to be in a battle like this where it's just hold it to the stops?
Oh, it's a blast. I mean, I guarantee this will probably be the funnest race these guys will have all year long. I mean, this is dirt track at its finest right now.
Everybody pumped to have Lima back on the schedule. We missed this race last year. These fans are in for a classic. Breyer Bauman has the lead. You get the sense that the back and forth action is not over. Time has now expired. It'll be 2 to go. Can Robinson repass the number 1? There's plenty of opportunities to do it.
Yeah, he's really going to have to make up some time here in the next two laps to be able to get right on his rear tire, and maybe he'll be able to do the slide job right on the last lap.
He's getting closer and closer. See if he can get a drive off on the outside.
Kind of following the same line right now, but Breyer's just one little mistake away, and you're threading the needle right up against the cushion there.
Oh, here we go. White flag coming out. Briar Bauman with about a 2-bike length lead. Does Robinson have any tricks left?
Let's see if he's able to get the run. Well, a little bit wide. Doesn't get quite the run off of turn 2 that I was hoping he'd get.
Could that be the difference maker? No, Robinson a good drive, and now into turn 3, he's gonna run the low line.
Yeah.
Last-ditch effort!
Oh, not quite enough. He ran it in deep. Briar squares him back up.
What a recovery! Briar Bauman able to get him back on the last lap and take the win at Lima. Wow, that was amazing.
That was great. I mean, Brandon Robinson gave it everything that he possibly could going into turn 3. Never gave up, but Briar squared him back up and was able to take it by the line.
I'm shocked actually at a turn 2. Robinson was so wide and had lost ground, I thought his chances were over. He sent it into turn 3.
Yeah, he sure did. I like that effort out of him. I mean, he never gave up, even though that he didn't have the run that he needed, but still gave it a shot.
And then Bauman, did Bauman see it coming as soon as Robinson was on the inside?
I believe so. You can feel him and you can hear him, so I think Briar just woed up a little bit, got it turned, squared him back up to take over the lead again.
Okay, so here it is. Robinson somehow gets enough drive out of 2 to set him up here in 3.
Yeah, runs it in deep, drives to the bottom, but, you know, you got to get out of the corner better, and that's what Briar did. You know, just seeing him come up the inside, squared him up.
And there's the checkers. Oh, man, you love to see a last lap battle like that. And it was a classic. I mean, they were passing each other like that for about 80% of this race. Van der Kooi wins an equally exciting battle with his teammate Price to edge for a 3rd on the podium. Meads only 8th. Will send it down to Kristen.
With an epic battle for that win. Briar, when you think back of epic battles in American flat track history, this one will go down in the books. For you, what will you remember most about that battle with Brandon Robinson?
This is funny. So I think it was 2012, my rookie year. Sammy Halbert had Henry Wiles come up the inside of him on the last lap after a red flag. And like, we're in the middle of a battle, in the middle of a race, and that popped to mind. Like, I remember Sammy just twisting the thing in half, cutting across the track and meeting Henry at the exit. And something was going on. The thing was slowing down a little bit. I'm like, I'm going to meet Brandon at the exit like Sammy did, so hopefully we can seal this deal up. But what a battle, dude. These fans, I signed more today than I think I have my entire career. It all comes down to thank you to the fans. This was an incredible event. It's insane how it works when we have a great racetrack to race on. Hats off to Jared Nicole. I don't give Jared much credit, but he runs a great event, and the track was flawless all day long. This is a cushion track. They're not supposed to be good, and it was great. So Dave kind of got us dialed in there for the main event, so I'm really, really happy with that one.
So Briar Bauman showing some heart. He has been consistent all year, but this time it was all about getting the win by any means necessary. Even a last lap attack from Brandon Robinson couldn't stop the champ from taking the checkers. Progressive American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Indian Motorcycle, official partner of Progressive American Flat Track. By American Flat Tracker, the official apparel of AFT. And Mission Foods has you covered with race day recipes that are too fast, too tasty. Johnny K's Indian Motorcycle Lima Half-Mile, an instant classic. Brandon Robinson, a great run, but ends up 2nd.
Brandon Robinson, down to the final lap, you gave it your all. During that race, I had so many questions. Was Briar Bauman using the roost as strategy? Because it looked like a few times he might have been. Did you leave anything out on the track? Given a few more laps, do you think you could have got Briar? For you, how did that race progress? And I mean, given a few more laps, do you think you would have had him?
I don't know if that would have made a difference. I mean, it was so close between us, and it got to a point where we were almost playing games with one another. It was like we just couldn't get away from one another. We were almost both getting annoyed. You could tell we kept looking back like, what the heck? We can't break each other. But man, that was probably the gnarliest, most fun race I've ever been in. I mean, I've never been in a race at Lima where it's just knockout, drag out like that. And man, hats off to Briar. That was an incredible race, man. We were going at it and couldn't be happier.
Still happy to finish 2nd in a race like that. Points are still close. Meads, a good salvage job despite the knee injury. So he's still within 1 race of the points. And Jared Van der Kooi is in this thing as well with another solid run. He has been very quick on the Indian Motorcycle this year. He wins the battle with his teammate, take a podium.
Awesome crowd tonight. I mean, this pumps me up right here. My team, my family, I have so many supporters out here. Thank you guys very much. What can I say, here on the podium in Lima. A couple years ago, I've never dreamt of this, so thank you guys.
So next up, we're going back to a mile in Du Quoin. It's been a while.
Yeah, going to the Magic Mile, Southern Illinois. Lots of draft passing on the mile racetracks. Du Quoin is one of the fastest tracks. I'm looking forward to watching it.
That should be fun. Henry Wiles and Johnny Lewis taking wins tonight, and then a tremendous battle. Briar Bauman emerges with the victory in Mission Super Twins from Brad Baker and Kristen Beat. I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.